Hello everyone, and welcome back to Helios for the tutorial video that I had mentioned in the scouting video I did a few days ago. I had some interest, so I thought I may as well put one of these together while I had some time. I will try my best to be brief. We all know with me sometimes that doesn't mean much, but most of this game, as I said, the UI is very similar to Ensemble Stars, so if you already play either basic or music, you'll already have a leg up, and as I said in the last video, if you play games like Fate Grand Order, anything, even in terms of the battle system, Pokemon might help out a little bit, so it's not a hard game to grasp the concepts of, but there are still little menu things and things you might not know just going into it, so that's what this video is going to be about. Alright, so I have voices turned off right now. I'll probably turn them on before I go into one of the battles just because it's kind of quiet otherwise, but just so it doesn't interrupt me and I have to talk over them. So here's the home screen. So home screen you have two different options. Well, I guess the first thing I'll do is talk about the top left corner has your rank, your AP. In this game there isn't two different things to use like in OnStars Basic you have your AP and your LP. This game is just AP, used for everything. They give you tons of refreshers, so don't worry about running out of AP. You will not run out of it. And then coins, or like the little gold coin with the C on it, those are used for, they're kind of like the equivalent of friend point scouting or whatever the ticket scouting that's in the new games. And then rubies are like your Dia or your love gems or your whatever your currency that you use to actually scout for the good cards in the game. So that's pretty straightforward. Bottom left you have your info notices, which is this one. Kind of tells you everything that's going on, if there's maintenance, if there's campaigns, all your basics. This is the present box, so if you have presents you collect them from here. If there were presents, this yellow button at the bottom wouldn't be grayed out, you just hit that and then collect them that way. And then the last one, the little kind of notepad to-do list, is your mission. So there's daily missions, weekly missions, main missions, which basically you just clear by playing the game a whole bunch and doing all of those things, and then event-specific missions, which just run for the duration of the events that are on. So most of the missions are pretty simple. I mean, daily missions, I usually don't do all of them, but it's like do 3 main quest battles, do 3 sub-quest battles, and we'll get into what that means right away. Some of these, oh yeah, like someone else's room, do a coin order or a coin scout, clear 10 battles, and then do a patrol. I think those are the basic ones. Weekly is basically the same thing, just more of them, and then there's a login bonus as well. And then again, main bonuses, mostly cleared just by playing through the main story and playing the game normally. And then the bottom is kind of the scrolling banners, so we've got, if this would move, so we've got, basically it just tells you what gotchas are going on and then what event's happening right now. Okay. So moving up to, I showed this off last time, but if you want to switch your character on the main screen, these little arrows on the side, you just tap them and it'll scroll through the cards you have set for that. And then at the top, so the first one, the little square, that just takes everything else away, so you just get the CG of the card. The next one, and OnStars does this too now, you can actually switch between like the live 2D models and the card CGs. So in this game you could have up to 4 of them on the screen at the same time. The third button, this one, lets you pick your characters, so either the cards that you want to put out or the characters that you want. In this screen, depending on who you have, they do talk to each other, and then so you can select your characters, they show up at the bottom. If you hold it, then you can change their outfit. So I have them all in the outfits from the event that's going on currently. And then, so yeah, those two are the cards. And then I believe on this screen, so if you click on the background, you can actually change the background. I think this is a bug because I wanted to put the beach background up. I have already cleared all of these points. Like it says you need 46,000 points. I'm past that. So I don't know if they're not unlocking because of some game bug, but I assume I will get them at some point. So that's what that is. So you can kind of switch between whether you want like CGs of your favorite cards on the screen or whether you want your favorite characters in whatever outfits happen to be available at the time. So I'm gonna, not that one, I'm just gonna go back to the other screen because it moves around less. Okay, so menu. This is kind of where most of the more confusing options are. So shop is literally like the Dia, the ruby shop. If it actually will work for me. So I'm not going to go through all the things you can buy. This is stuff that costs real money. The only thing that might be of interest is these metal shops. So these are, and again, this is something that OnStars has started, but if you scout, every time you scout in one of the featured boxes, you get one of those blue coins. And if you collect enough of them, you can exchange them for cards or for items or for basically anything you want. So that's that. So they started this game, I guess, with a way to get the guaranteed card if you scout 300 times, which is a lot, but I know some people would rather have that than keep scouting forever and ever and potentially RNG not being kind in that way. So the second one is the items. So this is kind of like your storage locker, or what tells you what you've collected. So as you can see, this is all just from playing naturally, and I believe these little bars here, they give you back 30 AP, the energy drinks give you back 100, and then the burgers give you back 200. So you will not run out of AP. You could probably play this game consistently for a few days before running out of these items, because you do keep getting more of them as you play as well. Materials are things that you use for your cards. So we have training tickets, again, bronze, silver, gold, each gives more experience respectively. These medals are for limit breaking. So basically, if you have a card and you don't have a second copy of the card, but you want to make it stronger, you can use these. I know for a 3-star it takes 100 of them, so it does take a bit. You get them as event rewards. You can also get them as, I'll show you when we do the scouting, but basically if you max out the number of copies of a card that you have, they will turn into medals. And if you play, I know School Idol Festival All-Stars does it that way as well, so that's a way you can make your card stronger without necessarily scouting multiple copies of the same card. These little bears are for completing, in this game they're not called Idol Roads, they're called Hero Roads. It's still a skill tree, it works the same way that it does in OnStars. And then the sector medals are for evolving or blooming. In this game it's called evolving, so evolving cards. And generally you need 5 to evolve it initially, and then as you keep going down the Idol Road, or the Hero Road, sometimes you'll need them just to unlock certain nodes as you progress further. And then event, these are like event-specific items, which I have none of apparently. So, like I said, there's not too many different mechanics in this game, but it is still good to know kind of where everything is when you're going into it. Alright, so beside item is the profile, which I'm not going to show because it does have some of the your personal game information on it, but basically, again, it's like a profile card in any game. You can change your little introductory message. It's got a friend code on there for when we get to the room. I'll show you what that does. And it also has, you can set your favorite cards and things like that. So fairly self-explanatory. Hero Room, this is just kind of like an overview of the characters that are in the game. So yeah, so this game, the characters, they aren't divided into agencies or idol units or anything like that. They're divided into sectors. So we have basically 3 or 4 characters in every sector. It is a lot more manageable than OnStars in terms of the number of characters you have to deal with. And basically, if you go into one of them, I'll just go into Akira because he is the kind of the main boy. Alright, so you can see we've got, this is kind of like your affection bond bonus thing. So as you rank up, you get different, again, you get AP refresh items, you get different voice clips, you get stories at some ranks, and then at some ranks you also get rubies depending on how high you raise their affection level. So again, pretty typical, very similar to other Happy Elements games that we've talked about. And then voice clips. Mini Hero is for your room. So when I show you the room, you can kind of choose what you want their appearance to be. They're these little chibis. And they also appear on the patrol screen. And then dress up, same kind of thing, just like on the home screen, you can pick what outfit you would like them to appear in. And then story is just a quick summary of all the stories that they appear in. And I'll go more into stories when we actually get to that tab, but if you just want to see what chapters a certain character appears in, this is the best way to do it. And then profile is just a basic overview of the character. So again, you've got, you know, their hero rank, age, birthday, blood type, height, weight, likes, dislikes, who else is in their sector, so just kind of a quick way of seeing who all the characters are. So the next one we have collection, and collection is just kind of an overview again. It's like your album basically. So So Hero Collection shows you all the cards that you have, of which I don't have that many yet. Frame Collection shows you the frames, and I did talk about frames in the last video. They are kind of like supports that you add onto cards to make them stronger. So again, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4-star frames. They're a little bit, well, the 1 and 2-star frames are easier to collect. Everything else, as you can see, is not. And then Still Collection is the CGs that you get from reading through stories or from playing events. And I do have all of these, they're just not loading in at the moment. But yeah, so as you can see, the main story, I made it through 3 out of the 4 parts. That's about where my teams max out at this moment, but considering I've only had this account for a little over a week and I've already made it through 3/4 of the main story, I don't think that's too bad. Are they gonna load? Yeah, there we go. So you can see, and if you click on them, like you can make them bigger. The art in this game is so nice, and again, you kind of expect that with Happy Elements now, but it's still nice to see. Settings is the next one, or like system settings. So we have sound to begin with, background music, sound effects, voices. So this one I believe is for like kind of like performance settings. So the first one you can actually change like how much battery power the game uses. Battle settings, so the first one will make more sense when I actually show you what the battle looks like, but you can have kind of full, you can turn the movies or the little animations off just to make it a little bit quicker. Story is like text speed and how the auto function works or how the skip function works. And then other is just kind of AP refresh, patrol, downloading extra assets, things like that. Data, again, I'm not going to go into because of password reasons, but just like OnStars, it will give you like a code and then you set your own password and then you keep that password. So it's not like games where every time you use it you have to reset it. You can use the same one, as far as we know, for eternity. And then help was the question mark, that's just kind of basic help. Support is to email Happy Elements if you want to do that. And then the last one is return to title screen. And that's basically it. So again, there's not a whole lot to the menu, but it's good to know where everything is. So going down to the bottom, the little the little icon at the side there, that's for the event. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So we'll look at the bottom menu. So story, first of all, again, very simple. Main story is the main story of the game. There's 4 parts to it. The prologue's really short, but each other part is about 40 chapters long, so it is a fairly substantial main story for the game just beginning. Event story, obviously, is for the event stories that happen. Character story are kind of like introductory stories. Every character gets, I believe, 3 of them right now that you can unlock through Raising Affection. I don't know why I haven't been working on his. And then the other ones are unlocked through cards, and then you unlock the stories on there. Hero Roads, same as in OnStars. And I guess since we're on here, I can also go through that. So you see, like I said before, you can check out the main story chapters the character appears in, their personal stories, event stories they're in. P stories are patrol stories, so when you do patrol, and patrol is basically like management in OnStars, where you set them to go for a few hours, and then when it ends you get a whole bunch of resources. Every once in a while it'll trigger a little mini story between 2 characters, or a little mini talk, which are just kind of the 2 little chibis on the screen talking to each other. So you can unlock all those through there, or check them out through there. And then the last one is, if you want to favorite a story or a chapter or anything, those would appear there. Team goes into your team building. So team order is just setting up your main teams. So yeah, so this is the one I've been using for the event because the event red cards get a bonus. So I've been using my best red cards and then just a 4-star that is neutral so I can get a little more damage on that. So you can Osusume just like in most games. Osusume is just like pick the best, so you can choose what attributes you want to focus on. If you want to focus on balance, you know, HP, link skills, anything like that. And then what frames you want to add, and then if you want to put event cards into your team. And then frames, again, if you go to there, as you can see, I have way too many copies of that one frame because was currently in the gacha, and I managed to rate up apparently was not a lie for that one. So you can, again, Osusume the frames. There are certain advantages to having frames of the character attached to that character. For where I am in the game right now and for where most people are as a beginner, it's not super important because the teams will be good enough to carry you without optimizing everything, but like this one, for instance, I believe, if I get it to load, So yeah, some of them just kind of give you general skills and general abilities. And then there's some, like I think this one does specifically, it's for the event. Yeah, so like the skill specifically applies to the character that's in the frame. Some of them aren't like that, but regardless of whether you're attaching it to the proper card, you still get the ability, which in this case is point bonuses for playing the event, and you still get like the HP and the strength of the card still gets added to your card regardless of what character is in it. So, like I said, there are advantages to matching up, but at this point, since the game's only been out for a couple of weeks, I think just getting strong frames to attach to cards so you can build your team strength should be the priority. And then again, there's a bunch of teams you can build. I only have a couple. This was like, yeah, so I've mostly been using this one for the event just because it's giving me the best results. Hero just lets you see all of the cards that you have collected so you can go through them. And then Frame lets you see all the frames you've collected. And I need to clear these out because I haven't been doing that. These little bears are just like, they help you level up your frames, as this is telling me because I just transferred this back to my phone. But otherwise, you can combine frames into each other to make them stronger. You have to do that manually, or you can sell them for money. So yeah, you can see I've got a few that I can combine, and again, this guy here, this 3-star, that's Nova, he's like one of the support characters, so again, those are for leveling up cards, and then once the event is over, I might combine all these. For now, since they're all 3 stars, I'm just kind of letting them repeat on themselves. But okay, so let's actually go into one of these cards so I can show you. I talked about this a little bit in the other video, but we'll actually go properly here. So this is the event card. Alright, so link scale is something I'll show you in the battle, but that shows you what characters you can link up with, and they give you, again, they give you bonuses. Sometimes it's a damage bonus, sometimes it fills up your special attack or your burst meter more quickly. So it depends what the bonus is. This one says, you know, it increases the critical hit rate of the card. And then every card has different characters it links up with. Generally, they're either from the sector or they're characters that have some other kind of pre-existing relationship. Skill is just your general skills that the card has. As you can see, mine are leveled up quite a bit at this point. And then this is kind of event specific. The first one is like more damage in the event, and then the other ones are just skills that apply even once the event's over. Those skills will still apply to the card. And again, usually they have to do with either damaging the opponent, debuffing them, buffing your own team. Basically any skills are good. And again, I'm sure there are optimal skills to look for and things like that, but for what you need to get through the game, it's not super important to have optimized teams. This one is for leveling cards up. So again, he's maxed right now, but if he wasn't, I could use these to raise the level of him. And then the first one, this one is for the limit break. Again, he's maxed, so I can't limit break him, but that's what that would be for. And then the hero road. If you play on stars, this will look very familiar. So there it is. So I don't think I might be able to do a little bit. No, because I don't have enough of those, the big bears. But yeah, as you can see, you level up your skills, your abilities, get more health, more attack power, more defense power, and then unlock things like stories, and then more critical power. So those are kind of your 4 stats. You've got HP of the card, you've got your attack power, your defensive power, and then your like critical hit rate, how great the chance that you would perform a critical hit would be. And then this orange one is the evolution, so if you were to evolve a card, that's where it would happen. Alright, so that's the basics of how cards work, and then the yellow button is just save, so once you have your team kind of optimized to your liking, you hit the save button and then it'll save it as a team. And you can, the top here, if you want to give your teams names, you can. I haven't, but that's just that's there if you want it. Alright, I think that's everything for team, right? Because we went through, yeah, frames, characters, that's basically it. Order was what we did last time. This is the scouting screen. So it costs 300 rubies to do a full 10 roll, which will guarantee you either a 3-star frame or a 3-star hero card. And as I said last time, just like in Fate Grand Order, the frames, just like the craft essences, are part of the normal gacha. Good or bad, I haven't had too much trouble with it, but I have sometimes when I was re-rolling gotten a roll that was like 10 frames and no hero cards, so they can be a little bit of a problem sometimes. And then this is just the normal, it's like the main box in OnStars. So when you get up to, I think 100 scouts, I think you're guaranteed, I'm not sure if you can pick your 4-star, but I think you get a 4-star out of it. So at least there's that. And then this is the coin scouting. So coin scouting, like I said, it's kind of like producer point, ticket scouting, whatever you want to call it. So it will give you 2-star cards and 2-star frames. And you're probably wondering why you would bother doing that once you've collected all of the cards, because of limit breaking. So once you collect all the cards, if you keep rolling, especially doing the 10 roll, you can collect those limit break medals pretty quickly, and then you can make your cards stronger that way. All right, I'm gonna do quest next just because map's a little longer to explain, but quest is just the levels in the game. So you see main quest is just main story. Subquest will get you either coins, those little bears that you use to do the hero roads, or level up training tickets. So if you want some extra items, subquests are the way to do that. And then event quests are specific to whatever event is happening at the time, which is not loading in right now, but it's there. All right, map. So this is what I talked about. It's kind of like management courses in OnStars. Mine are all done right now. I'm just gonna do one. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just go over here. All right, so once you complete a patrol, you can raise the level of your area. And again, doing that will get you different things. It will get you room coins for one thing, but it'll also get you rubies, I think, every 5 levels. So it's good to keep patrols running constantly just to keep collecting everything. It also raises the level of the cards you have in, and it raises their affection rank. Alright, so you can see area leveled up, and then we've got like affection ranks leveled up as well. So we got some AP drinks for that. And then for completing it, you get coins, training tickets, hero road bears, you can also get sector medals, anything like that. So it's really good to keep it running. And then these stores, once you unlock them, I can unlock this one. I believe, yeah, it gives you more items to buy for your room. So to do a patrol, you just kind of hit the button. You can pick your length. I've been doing the 4-hour ones because I think they're not the most efficient, but they give you a lot of good rewards, and you're not going back so often during the day to replenish them. So 40 AP for a 4-hour patrol. And yeah. So and sometimes when the patrol is finished, that's when it will trigger those patrol stories. Sometimes you'll get a little thing that pops up that says emergency, which is just this little mini game where you have to tap the screen, you get items from it. And sometimes you'll get these. So these are the little P-talk things that came up in the story. So you can see they have a little conversation. And I think everyone has one regardless of like whether they're in the same sector or they have a pre-existing relationship. So it's kind of just a neat way to get all the characters talking to each other. So I won't do the other ones right now just because they're all the same, but I'll go back to the map. So Central Square is your room. And if you play OnStars music, this will look very familiar. All right, it took a while to load in, I think, just because I haven't loaded it on this phone since I put the account back. But as you can see, this is your room. So on the left-hand side, you can visit someone's room randomly, you can follow other users if you know their friend code, you can like other people's rooms, and you can search for room IDs. Menu is basically you can buy different items for your room. There we go. So, and items unlock as you progress more and more through the patrols and level up the areas that are there. And the last one, food, is something you can buy to increase the affection level of characters. So every character has their different likes and dislikes when it comes to food, but if you feed them, their affection level will go up. And then this is just to pick, shows you what you have so that you can set out. Anything that has a little running man means that the character can actually interact with the object, so it's kind of nice to see what they can sit down on or lie down on or do anything like that. This is to sell items. And then this one, I haven't played around with this too much. Oh, I guess you can set like your favorite room configuration so you can bring it back up. And then this is to pick your hero. So again, I have those ones in here just because they're in the event, so they have the special outfits. And everything you see in this room right now is from the event. So when you play the event, you get these room items, floors, walls, all that good stuff. So since this was a survival island themed event, that's what it ends up being. And then if you actually click on the character, so the present, that would be to give them, so I got these like coconut drinks, so I'll give him one. Those are from the event as well. and then, yeah, as you can see there, affection level will go up. And the higher the affection rank gets, the harder it is to level them up. Again, pretty typical for games that have that sort of mechanic. So that's the room. And then the coins at the top, those little coins with the house on them, that's what you use to buy different items. Ones that you get from the events are free. Once you have them, otherwise you have to buy them from the stores. Alright, so I think that covers all of the basics of the menu. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to play a course or a quest, so you can see what that looks like. So the events in this game, this is the first event, but it was divided into two parts. So the first half of it you had to collect, I believe, 36,000 points was where the last story unlocked in order to progress to the second half. So I think you can get 3 copies of the event card in the first half of the event and then an additional 2 in the second half. So we'll flip to the second half of the event by hitting the little rotating button there. So this is the second half of the event. So the way this event works, and again, I don't know if they're going to have different styles of events, but very straightforward. You play courses, you collect boss tickets, you do boss battles for a whole bunch of points. That's basically it. So we're going to do one of these, one that I think will be hard enough that I can actually show you all the mechanics in the battle. So we're going to do this one. And at the bottom there, you can see it tells you how many AP you need to do the event course. It tells you your rewards. So basically the first time you clear an event, if you clear it with all 4 members of your team left alive, you get 6 rubies. And it decreases by 2 for every... If you only have 1 left alive, you get nothing, but if you have 2, you get 2. If you have 3, you get 4. That's basically the way it works. So that's the quickest way to, especially just starting the game, to gain rubies is just play, especially going through the main quest, just play a whole bunch of courses. So we're going to do this one. Alright, so as you can see, so it says stage 3, it shows that I have cleared all the quests already. It shows you what enemies are there, it shows you what drops you can get from the event, and then it'll show you what attribute is good. And these attributes do have names, I just call them, they're the same colors as they are in OnStar's music. There's red, blue, yellow, green, and just like in Fate Grand Order, as I said in Pokemon, certain attributes are strong or weak against certain other attributes. So in this case, the one that's highlighted is the one that is strong against the opponent. So you want red cards. So I have 3 red cards. All my frames are red. The blue card is there for a reason, and I will show you that once we get into the battle. And then the next one shows you the strength of the enemy versus your team strength. But if you have on attribute cards, you can probably get away with fighting teams that are between 10 and 15,000 points stronger than your team strength and at least still win. So let's go into it. And this might have to load because, like I said, I just put this back on my phone, so I haven't played through it yet. Okay, that's pretty fast. Alright. And I realized as I went into it that I said I was going to turn voices back on and I didn't, so I'm going to do that. Okay. Just so you got something to listen to. Okay, so yeah, you can pull up the little menu button, just shows you how many colors of each treasure chest have dropped so far, and then you can also change the settings if you really want to. White button at the bottom is retire, so that's quit. Yellow button is continue. I'm going to turn the auto off so you can actually change the speed, so one play or like double speed. I usually play on double speed just because it's easier. So you can see you have your team on the left hand side, all of their HP bars and their burst bars at the bottom. So those percentages are for their special attack. So they go up, first of all they go up if your cards have any like skills or attributes that raise it. Secondly, they go up by attacking, and thirdly they go up by getting attacked. So those are the 3 ways you can raise your burst, essentially. And then you see the enemy team on the other side. The waves, so there's 3 different waves of enemies that are going to come out. And then the little circular chart shows you what attribute is good or bad against any other one. So in this case, the enemy is all green, so our team should be red. If we had yellow characters on the team, their attack strengths would be decreased and they would take more damage from the enemy. So that's really the only thing you have to worry about when you're building teams, but it's good to at least kind of memorize that little chart. It's one step more complicated than fire, water, grass, but it's not too bad. Alright, so getting into the actual battle phase. So you can see there's a skill button. If you run auto, it will auto activate all the skills, but So you can see every card has different skills, so if we activate them, it does take a while. I won't do all of them, but you can see we go through them. So they put debuffs onto the enemy team. So the blue ones debuff the enemy team, the orange ones I believe buff your team. So I'll go through all of them just to go through it. And then these red ones, if I'm seeing them right, yeah, they actually do damage to the opposing team. So those ones are pretty good, and you can see the number that pops up. And that one does damage to everyone, so he actually has some pretty good skills. So the number that pops up is how many turns it takes to refresh that. So in 7 turns, I can use that particular one again. Let's just use all of them because we're here. Alright, so you can see using that already took out one of the enemies. So when you see the little like flashing buttons, that shows you who can actually attack during that turn. So I want to build up his, so you see it comes up with link. So link means that if you link certain characters together, as I said before, they get a certain, so in this case you can see it says burst gauge 75% up. So if I link those two characters together, the amount of burst that they gain from doing the attack will increase by 75%. So let's do that. And then otherwise, we'll do one of everyone. So then you can see that red flashing square means a raised attack, so you can see that on the bar as well. But then if I do that, you can see the ones we used will disappear. So they actually lose their attack squares. So you can't just pick the same character to attack 4 times in a row, even though that would get you more damage, but that's not the way it works. Alright. There's wave number 2. I wanna increase Keith the blue card. I wanna get his skill up, so I'm gonna use him, even though he's, so we can increase the link level as well by using the number of cards or using the same card over and over. Alright, so hopefully these enemies are a little bit stronger, so I should be able to get some better burst damage. Yeah, so I think I'll be able to use that. Okay, so you can see his filled up already. And yeah, so if they're cards that are strong against the opponent, you also take, as I said before, when you take more damage, if they're weak, you take less damage. So that's why even if your team strength isn't up to where the enemy's team strength is, because you're not taking as much damage and you're dealing more, it kind of all evens out. So okay, so when we get the burst you actually have to swipe up on the screen to get it to activate. So I'm going to do that. And as you can see, so this blue card here, he has no more of those little squares. He hasn't refilled yet, so I can't actually pick him to attack with this turn. So we're going to do the other ones. I probably won't need all of them. So when you do the burst, for 3-star cards they get a special, just kind of little mini animation like this. And that'll take it out, because he's really strong. Alright, so here we go, the last one. So I'm gonna keep building his up, and then maybe I'll get the other ones to their burst level as well. Alright. Should be able to. Just gonna let that run. So as you can see, the animation's really smooth. I've heard some people say that depending on what phone you have, it doesn't work the greatest. We're just gonna do that just because I need to get him up to 100. So I can show you what 4-star cards look like. But I have an iPhone 11 right now, and it runs very smooth. I haven't had any trouble with it. Alright, so as you can see, I've got 3 cards that are ready to do a burst this time. So we're gonna do that. And then at the end you can see it says Union Attack. So if you have more than one card do a burst on the same turn, they get a special attack at the end that attacks all of the enemies. In this case there's only one that's still left standing, but if there were more it would attack all of them. So the one downside to auto, I would say, is that it doesn't figure that out. So like if you had an opponent that had like 100 HP left, it would choose to use a burst on that opponent if there was a burst available to be used. So if there's a level that's a little bit harder, it's good to manage it a little bit and not run everything on auto, just because it could actually cause you to get into some trouble if it doesn't realize what you're doing or that you're saving your attacks. Who have I not used yet? Okay. So 4-star attacks. As you can see, they are very fancy. So if you have a 4-star card, you will get a special animation for each of them, and I believe they are unique. So like the initial 4-star Akira card has a different one than the 4-star that's in the gacha for this event. And I'll just let them do their things, you can kind of see. So everyone, again, I haven't talked about the characters too much just because this isn't really a character introduction video, but they all have their own special powers, and then this is what the Union attack looks like. So that's extra damage. And this enemy has a skill, I think, that does like extra battle damage. It's not going to matter because he's almost taken out, so we'll just finish it up. And that's the end of the battle course. So that's what battle courses look like. And as you can see, quest results. So if you previously completed a quest and didn't get all the missions, but this time everyone survived, you would get those remaining rubies for doing that. And then you see you get... These cards are all max level, but otherwise they would level up, your affection rank goes up, you get coins, and then you get experience toward raising your player level. And then here you can see that point bonus at the bottom. That's because I have all of those 3-star frames attached to it. So that'll raise that. And then the tickets, so I got 18 boss battle tickets. I think when you get up to 30 you can do like the basic level, and then that gets you, I think, between like 1,500 and 2,000 event points just for clearing one run. So it's, once you get enough, it's probably best to do that, and then you gain points a lot quicker. But that is basically how the game works. So I'm gonna very quickly turn voices off again so that Billy doesn't yell at me when I go back to the home screen. Alright, so I think that covers everything. I mean, usually when I do these videos I think of something after that I've forgotten, but I hope that covers everything. I hope that answers any questions. If you do have questions, feel free to leave me a comment or come talk to me on Twitter. I'm at EndlessRondo. Otherwise, I'm saving up. I don't know what I'm saving up for. Depending on who gets a gacha next, we might do a pull in there, but we'll see. Like I said, I haven't had too much luck. I've rolled in this gacha like 7 times and haven't gotten either of the event cards, so you know, what is rate up sometimes, but that's that's how it works. So it is a really fun game. Like I said, it's pretty basic. I still talked for way longer than I meant to, but in terms of everything, it's, once you play around with it, it's pretty easy to figure out. So I would definitely recommend it. Get to know these characters. They're great, and otherwise I will see you for whatever I happen to scout for next. So bye for now.